Good morning, everybody. Lee Brower here, and welcome to this week's edition of Meaningful Monday. I am grateful to be here, and I am glad to be here. About 15 years ago, I had minor surgery on my knee. I mean, just to clean it out. It's like day surgery, in one day, out the other, clean up the meniscus. When I awoke, the doctor was standing alongside of my bed, and he said, "Lee, I made a mistake." Now, those are the last words you want to hear when you're coming out of surgery. He said, "I cut where I was supposed to stitch. Started to do a knee replacement." And I'm like, "Oh dear." He says, "You're going to have that knee replaced and I'll pay for it." Well, that was not good news to me. I'm very active, and the last thing I wanted 15 years ago was a knee replacement. And so I tried traditional rehab, and it went tough for a while, but I switched my rehab and went to a scheme around balancing. Came out of it all right, and fast forward to today. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I met the sports medicine doctor, and he's looking at the x-rays on my knee, and he says, "Lee, why haven't you gotten this replaced?" He said, "It's time. It's time. It's about time." So I acquiesced, and so I'm now looking at talking to different surgeons about the possibility of getting a knee replacement. Well, that same day, that night, it was the Valentine's Day Eve, the night before Valentine's Day, because in our church, in our neighborhood, we were having a Valentine's Day party. And so I went to the party, and I was looking around, a chance to meet some of our new neighbors. And so I saw a neighbor sitting over there in a wheelchair, and I went over and started talking to him. And "How are you doing?" Got to introduce myself. Very interesting guy, very pleasing to talk to. And we were just having wonderful conversations. And I finally asked him, I said, "What's your story?" And he said, "Well, when I was 13 years old, I was one of the young, promising top golfers in the state. And then all of a sudden I got diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. And I could tell by his legs that they had atrophied, and he was in this chair and been there for some time. He said, I was a premier golfer in the state at that time." He said, "I got about age 18, all of a sudden I started losing distance and just kind of moved downhill from there. But that's not important." And then we started talking about business and some other things and family and life in general. And we had a very good conversation, I think, for both of us. And so he finally said to me, he says, "You need to grab your bride and get out there on the dance floor." And I'm like, "Well, you're my excuse." And he kind of chuckled, and then I thought, I said to him, "Did I say the wrong thing?" And he said, No. He says, "I probably wouldn't be out there anyway." Well, that stayed with me. And I don't mean to express this in the form of comparison, because I truly believe that comparison is just, comparison is all about false happiness and false gratitude. If we get happiness from comparison, it's not true happiness. But what it did was awaken something in me, and I had to reflect upon it, and this word came into my mind. And the word was rejoice. And I was overcome with this feeling of rejoice as I thought about what this leg has given me through many decades of my life. This leg has fought for me. It's given me many joyous moments. I've climbed, even since the time that I had knee surgery, I've done several marathons and half marathons and gone back and forth in the Grand Canyon and done numerous things, played basketball. It has fought for me, and I rejoice in this leg and rejoice in this body that has given me the blessings that I've had and the fun that I've had. And that word just has stayed with me, and I've shared it with others. I said, when you really think about gratitude, we can be grateful for things, but that's comparison. But the concept of being grateful no matter what our circumstances, takes us to a whole nother level, a much higher level of gratitude. And it kind of is demonstrated, it's captured in that word rejoice. And the person I was talking to me said, "Well, can you rejoice in cancer?" Can you rejoice in cancer? No. But I can rejoice in the fact that my body's fighting that cancer. I can rejoice in all of the other wonderful blessings around me, the support that maybe I have from family, the doctors and what they're doing in medicine and the advances. There's so much more that I can rejoice in. So I'm sharing that word with you today. I'm interested in I've already heard back from several people who contacted me after I talked. We got talking. I said, "Hey, I got this word. What do you think about it?" And they've come back and shared some amazing, poignant feelings and experiences that they've had. So I share it with you. Is this a word that you can fall back on when you start getting into scarcity? Is this a word that'll maybe pick you up and put you into abundance, that will elevate that gratitude around you? Can one word really do all of that? Perhaps it can. It has for me. It's helped me. It's helped me move me from that feeling of scarcity and into that feeling of abundance. Have a wonderful week. Find those many areas that we have to rejoice in. May you find those areas for you that you can rejoice in. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.